I know that if you and I started a new channel and we rented a Lamborghini under the company expense, and you and I just drove around Atlanta and hit up every strip club, I promise you we will have 100K in 6 months.
Hey everybody, this is the Jeremy Redman, where we build task magic in public, in front of your eyes, and help people save time and make money from automations. Everyone can. So hit the thumb right now if you haven't already. Please, please, please. I feel like I'm back. We need to get this channel from 3,000 to 300,000. That is why subscribing, commenting, and thumbing up this video and watching it and clicking through whatever tickles that algorithm's fancy. So please thumb us up, hit subscribe. If you like tips on how to save money, oh my God, I got the call to action wrong. Leave this in, Dave. I got the call to action wrong again. I guess save money, fine. You save time, you save money. The big thing is we're building a time machine at Task Magic to help you save time and make money if you want. We've got multiple cases of people making money, and that's why you thumb this up. Hit the bell. You get all the videos, and you get alerted to all the videos. Anyway, please do that. That would help. We have an interview with KP. He's been hugely important in the build in public movement on Twitter, formerly Twitter or X now. And he's starting to bring his knowledge from Twitter over to YouTube, and we should check out his channel. But this interview goes into building your business, getting your first customers, our war on Zapier, and how automations can help everything. But really the mindset from him being an immigrant from India and coming over to the States and building something successful. So check that out. Let us know in the comments your thoughts, because he thinks we can beat Zapier. He thinks there's an opportunity. Check it out. By the way, this is my first time recording using this studio.
This new setup? Awesome.
Yeah, StreamYard.
Awesome.
Have you heard of this one?
I've heard of the name, but I've never used it. Actually, an hour ago, I used Restream. I played with Restream a little bit, and then I went into Twitter's own sort of live stream.
I saw that you were going Twitter live, right?
Yeah. So I tried, like, I played with a couple things, and I eventually landed on something called Vibe Hut, which is one of the founders that I'm friends with. His name's Chris, and he's building like a video platform, for micro communities online. So I joined that, and then we streamed it from that one to Twitter. So, been going through the thing that you're right now going through, all day. It's like the setup.
Yes, and that's this feels like more of a stressful production, I think, to get going, because and that's what I saw on your Twitter. And by the way, this is KP, everybody. For those of you who don't know. I'm gonna let you go through this and sell you, because like it's getting whitewashed a little bit, like on the camera, I'm sure, but your face isn't, because I don't know if you built this with this in mind, but it scrolls on this side and it leaves your face and body on it. Did you do this with?
Yes,
like
I built it, but I didn't intend for it to be appreciated this much by you.
Yeah,
I was like,
I didn't either until I started scrolling. And I was like, oh my God, his face and body is staying there. And I'm scrolling and it looks so good on camera. It's not even funny.
That's cool. That's funny. Yeah. But dude, I mean, like all of us, my website, especially my personal website, is always a work in progress. I just never know what to put in there, how much to put, how less to put. It's just, So for now, I made peace with it. I looked at it just 2 days ago and thinking man, I'm not putting the word podcaster in there because I love podcasting. I'm putting creator. Am I really a creator? So we always go through I'm sure you think the same thing. It's like you just really, you don't know who you are in terms of how you present yourself to the world. So I'm like, you know what? Whatever it is, it's hard. But
like I've learned that I'm good standing.
Yeah.
Like this is all the build in public piece that I want to pick your brain on, and because we've kind of come up together.
Right.
And you've bested me on so many levels on Twitter or X, right? Like
it's the energy, though. The energy is the same, right? I think the energy wise, we connected way back when. Was it 2020? 19?
2020? Yeah. 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
And I just want to do a state of, like a quick state of no code and then a state of like build in public and what are the motivations challenges. So like I think I've run into some challenges where like it's like a bandwidth issue
Mm,
or who am I as I'm building in public?
yeah.
Because it's really easy to say be yourself,
Yeah.
and it's another thing to actually do it.
Yeah.
And then it's another thing to do it on a consistent basis every day, every week. Because if you don't do it every week or every day or twice a week or 5 times, whatever the cadence
Right.
is, you lose your audience,
Yep.
especially on YouTube.
Right.
So, and I know you tweeted out, and I was going to have it up here, but like I just got so enthralled with how I could scroll this side and then your face would stay on the side. Um, was you wanted to take YouTube serious for building in public,
Yeah.
right? So, like, what has been your journey with on YouTube versus Twitter? Because you ball out on Twitter, like 50,000
Right.
50,000 followers, right?
Right.
And does that necessarily translate to
No.
subscribers on YouTube? Because those are harder.
Hell no. And I'm finding out the hard way. And so
Yeah.
in
Okay.
many ways, this is kind of like my chance to be a rookie again, the beginner again, right? And so
Okay.
on
Okay.
Twitter,
Yeah.
I genuinely have this, feeling of like I'm a master, at least of the art form. Now, I don't feel that I'm the most popular or like I don't feel that from the outcome point of view, like the follower counts, whatever. But I genuinely feel about the content presentation, the ease, at which I launch into a tweet. Like literally, I could like the other day I did I think we had this weekly email thing about come out like from Hype Fury or something, and then I was
Okay.
smiled at it because it said the last week you made 66 tweets. I don't know anybody who's as busy as I am, as
Yeah.
involved
Yeah.
as being in a family. Like I'm a very actively involved, dad. I'm like I love my child, love my son,
Oh yeah. Your
and
son is cute as shit,
right. Thank you.
dude.
And doing
Great work.
so
Great
many
work.
things that I do and still pump out 66 tweets in a week as if it's nothing. Right. And so I smiled at it.
66 a week.
Yeah.
Even as I heard that, I thought month. You know,
But
like that.
you know why though? It's because it's just it's like Steph Curry can't stop throwing free throws, like shooting free
Yeah.
throws.
Yeah.
It's just what is so easy and fun. Once you reach a certain level in terms of mastery, I'm not saying again in terms of outcomes, right? I'm not saying like it's about 3,000 or 4,000 followers. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also, by the way, halfway in the game, this is something I meant to share with you. Halfway in the game, Jeremy, like maybe by 2021 or 22, I think I got I really understood that I'm gonna crush this game. Like it became so apparent that no one can stop me.
Yeah.
Like in the sense that it's only me who can stop me. So if I
Yeah.
just play the game for 15 years from 2021, which is 2036, I will have 800K, a million followers. Whatever the number is, pick a number, I will have
Sure.
that. Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like then
Yeah.
it became less of a existential worry that, oh my god, will I have enough, will I have enough, will I be received, will I be. So it then became more of an internal game where am I having fun, right? Am I taking
Mm,
new shots that I've never taken? Like am I doing the tunnel shots that Steph does, which by the way have zero ROI? Like what is the point of doing a
yeah.
tunnel shot from like 30 feet into the tunnel through the to the bucket where it's not counted in the game, right? So you
Yeah.
actually have to love the game more than looking at the scoreboard. Only
Oh,
then you're allowed into the zone of mastery.
I lo- I love that because I used to tell this story about how I played varsity football in high
You
school.
did?
My
Wow,
senior,
yeah.
yeah, my senior running back because I'm short. That's
Nah,
why I do
wow.
tall. That's why I
Right.
stand up when I'm in podcast. So like for me, I quit my senior year
Huh.
and like I did varsity like
Mhm.
like I was decent like my junior year. I started my junior year.
Right.
Obviously, when you're a year behind everyone else and you're competing against seniors at that level, I was okay, I was good. And
Mm.
my senior year, I was going into it as a starter, and I remember getting knocked on my ass in practice when we were just practicing. We hadn't even started a game yet, and for some reason, it was just a drill where I was going up against a 6 foot, 250-pound linebacker, and I'm like, I'm not going to block that guy. I'm going to chip the guy. I'm going to do something. And I got knocked on my ass, rightfully so, right? Because you're not going to go head to head with that person when you're my size. You're going to shift out. You're going to do something else. And the coach was so like, that's going to happen in a game. Like, that's going to happen. And I quit that day. I quit. And I go, I don't love this game enough to
Yes.
practice like that all the
Yes.
time. I'm
Yes.
not going to be great at this.
Like,
Like, go focus somewhere else. So, like,
that's your
enjoying
self-awareness
yourself.
moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's your that
Yeah.
we have so many of those. I've had so many of those, when early 20s. I've
Yeah.
gone into an engineering job for an internship. I remember in 3 months in northern India, because I'm from South India. So it was a big trip to go to North India, and I got this great internship that I was like looking forward to. And then my diploma, my certificate was electrical engineering. And so these guys put me in this oil rig in the middle of God knows where in India, and there were all these like senior dudes who've been in the hardware, oil and gas for like 20, 30 years, petroleum, and they were like digging the oil, and like there's all this heavy machinery that was coming out, like the
Yeah.
equipment, and our job was to buff those things, like like basically we were peasants trying to buff these things and trying to
Yeah.
bolt the nuts and shit like that. And I was like, this, I hate this,
Yeah.
and they were all
Yeah.
taking so
Yeah.
much pride in persistence, and they were saying, oh, we love this so much. Like I remember that nut number 95 to bolt or whatever. I was like, this is literal torture for me.
Yeah.
I don't know why I chose this, but it was an MBA for me in terms of knowing what not to do for the rest of my life. So I got out of that
Mm.
shit right as quickly as I could, and came home and told my parents, I don't want to do this. I'm sorry. Right. And they were okay. But like, so like we need those moments, experiences, to have the
How
perspective of what true love feels like.
Yeah. Oh, true love. I like that. Like, I think like true self-love,
Yeah, true love, true
like,
self love. So look, you're creating, like, the thing. What I love about you, Jeremy, right from I first met you, and been noticing and watching you on the sidelines for a while now, and now is you have a true love for creating
mm,
something out of nothing. That is the
yeah,
true
yeah.
founder spark, which I have also. That's why we got into no code
Yeah,
in the
you do.
first place, right?
Right.
That's why we got into. And so as long as you stay true to that and stay closer and closer to that true love that made you fall in, like made you like go try out the first MVP or the first whatever, and look, ignore the noise around you, ignore all of the external expectations around you, and just be obsessed about that, and then
Yeah.
chip away every day in terms of how can I make this great, 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 like greater than yesterday. You cannot make it great, like in a like Steph Curry, again, back to the example. Like I remember watching his games from 2011, like that, like he tried the best for that season, and he made the most threes he could make, but he
Yeah.
didn't make the threes that he made 4 years ago, where he crushed it. Literally, he
Yeah.
was like sneezing and it's a 3-point shot. So you will eventually have a version of you who will walk on water like Jesus, but today that's not it, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
I feel like you're right, right? And I think that's a great POV or a great perspective. And when I think about that, it's like literally one of the things I wanted to ask you, which is, hey, dude, you're ahead of me, especially on X, I guess you say now. And it's funny that you're building and you are known as that as the build in public guy. Oh, build in public but you're
Right.
the build in public guy,
Right.
right?
Correct. Right. That's on
The
my
guy,
ex.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, dude, so many people will watch you. And I remember commenting on one of your posts, and it was about something haters, but you're way nicer than me on there. And I would have went into them. But it was like something you said something in your tweet, and I don't know if you remember this, but I
Yeah.
commented back that you have 48,000 followers and 47,500 won't do. They'll
Yeah.
watch you be successful.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I wanted to re-bring that up. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that the majority of your followers or the majority of my subscribers on YouTube
Right.
would prefer watching you motivate than actually become motivated to do something?
Because it's hard, man. I think it's because it's hard, and we know
Yeah.
that, I know that, right? And also this is, I think, a lot of this is because just not having exposure to what greatness looks like growing up, right?
Mm.
I grew up, in like I said, in South India, like in my family set up the way I saw, like all I saw was ordinary people. I mean, nothing wrong against that. They're just
Yeah.
ordinary,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
mediocre, normal people, not even normal lives. I never had any rendezvous with greatness, right? So my
Yeah.
viewpoint into greatness was through reading books and like watching documentaries on YouTube, and like when the internet took off, I was like obsessed about Kobe Bryant. I was obsessed about Steph Curry and obsessed about Steve Jobs, and like what is it that drives these people that crazy to do that nobody wants to do? Like
Mm.
nobody, like growing up, I always remember everybody viewed work as some kind of punishment. Like, oh, I had to go to work. Oh, I got
Yeah.
to do another 3 hours of this thing. Oh, my boss. Now, this whole year, I've been full-time founder for the first time, which is a huge blessing. And
Congratulations, brother.
thank you, brother. And it's a huge work as you know, like I've built up to this moment. This whole year, I felt like this call with you and me. Literally, this
Yeah.
is how I felt the whole year. It was fun. In fact, I was
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
forward
Yeah.
to Monday morning. I was looking for and my wife would say like we would go, like we went on a vacation in April, and she was like, I know you're not thinking about being here, right? And I'm like, yes, of
Yeah.
course
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not thinking. 'Cause I'm like my mind, I'm building castles. And she's just saying,
Yeah.
you're just such a broken. I mean, yes, I agree. So the thing is, we have never seen this level of obsession, this level of love
Mhm.
for something like work. Generally, at least people like me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Like growing up,
most
you're saying.
society hasn't seen that. So that's
Yeah.
why they
Yeah.
all feel like they have to do something. You have to grow a YouTube channel. You have to do the Twitter channel. So when I like tying back to the initial first comment about I'm back to being the rookie on YouTube. I remember early days of Twitter, 2018. It was like 400 followers. Nobody gave a shit about me.
2018 was 400.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
414
Yeah. Okay.
followers in November.
Oh wow.
Nobody gave a shit about me, and I was just as good. Literally, you saw me.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
when I was at 1,000 followers. I think you and I had a call. The
Yeah.
greats saw me. The funny thing is, dude, like the greats always notice. Like
Yeah.
LeBron can look at you from a mile away, the way you dunk, and say he's got potential.
He's gonna
But
do it.
you need to fill up the
Yeah. She's gonna do it.
stadium.
Yeah.
And so the journey from being a rookie to being a pro to fill up the stadium is way different,
Oh mother! I love
right?
that.
And is way
You need to fit.
different than being
You need to
noticed by.
fill up the stadium.
Right. And so the people, they will only come after you achieve mastery. They're not gonna, like, imagine if I was hosting a event in Atlanta, where I live, and I said, yo, Jeremy, why don't you come on down? I got two rookies who are trying to get better at archery. You're gonna love this. You're gonna be like, what the hell, man? Why would I watch someone trying to get better at shooting arrows? But
Yeah.
if I
Right.
called you and I said, look, I got two pros, they have gold medals in Olympics. They've dedicated 20 years to the craft. Do you want to come? You will be like, damn, that's what it
So
takes. You
so what do
want to
you do?
be a master, whatever you're doing. You cannot be settle. You cannot settle for rookies. And the problem we all of us go through is when we start something new, like Twitter. I mean, my YouTube channel, my content, dude, it's rookie level, and it's. I'm not saying it's good or bad. The game is. I'm in the rookie level.
Yeah.
So the point is, but however, when I view it and when I play it, I still got potential. I'm not saying there's
Yeah.
no
I feel
potential, but
it's
but I gotta wait and do my time to fill up the stadium, and there's no shortcuts there.
well. What is the advice? Like I believe the viewing you is it's motivational for this reason. It's almost demoralizing seeing you with 50,000 followers if I was nothing coming up,
Right.
right? But if I see you starting over on another platform again,
Which you are seeing.
building it up,
A bunch of
yeah,
people are seeing this. Yeah.
right. And that you see that and you're like, I'm doing it from nothing. Like that mindset or that brand or whatever you're bringing now to YouTube, which welcome to YouTube.
Thank
Well,
you.
you've been on YouTube, but like, and we only have like, I don't know, almost 4,000 subs or something like that, like 30, 35, 3,600 or something. And engagement's really good. Shout out to the app Sumolings who are amazing. Put your
Nice.
thumb up in here. Say hi to KP. Say hi to KP. They will say hi to you. So say hi, KP. Um, like I'm so impressed with your ability to do it again and be open about that process.
Yeah.
But
You saw my
for
videos,
other
right?
people,
You saw me
yeah,
acknowledging the fact that I'm getting like 4 views. I'm getting like I made a video when I crossed 100 subscribers. And like, it's so
okay,
funny. If I just asked earnestly all my 48,000 followers on Twitter to say, hey guys, if you really care about me, which I know they do, please come on over to YouTube and hit subscribe. I feel like I would get more than 100. But I didn't do that.
okay, Yeah. Okay.
What am I learning by doing that? Dude, I'm not learning the lesson in humility. The point is, like,
Sure.
if MJ starts over in golf, he has to start from scratch. That
Sure.
is how MJ is built. I want to be proud one day, 8 years from today, looking back, like I started from scratch, and look where I am today. Right?
How do you motivate other people doing that though? Like,
I
I
mean,
can imagine
yeah,
it's a decent crutch when you
right.
think in your head like, "Cool, I'm just starting over on YouTube,
Yes.
but I still got 50,000 on X." You
Right?
know? Like, that is a different how would it be more demoralizing, do you think, if you had what you have on YouTube now without the
Yeah.
X
Yeah, I
following?
believe. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. At least I have the wisdom of seeing the game play out one time.
Mm.
Right? So
Yeah.
I trust my gut a lot more second time around than the first time. First time I second guessed the hell out of everything. The first time
Sure.
around with my Twitter journey, that's why I leaned into a lot of my community, like a lot of my friends. Like, I would call people like you. I remember Michael Novotny. I would call, like a bunch of people, Joe
Michael,
Brown
yeah.
and all these OGs be like, guys, like, is it resonating? Like, is it like, what do you think? Or what am I doing?
Yeah.
And they would always tell me, man, like they would always be like, KP, your content's great, man. It's awesome. So, like, the funny thing is, if you look at my videos right now,
Yeah.
and if I asked you, I didn't do this, but if I called you out of the blues and I go, Jeremy, look at this like particular video, man. Like, is there value in this? Like the last five I've
Mm.
posted. Um,
Yeah.
and I believe that if you looked at it and you gave it the proper attention, you'd be like, it is valuable, KP. It is good. This is awesome. But there's some, tweaks you need to make here and there. But it's overall the core essence is there, right? You would say that. I know you would say that. But the funny thing is, I have to decide: do I value Jeremy's authentic, earnest, sincere, unfiltered feedback, or do I be
Yeah.
desperate about 4,000 views? I have to
Yeah.
decide. The people who win are the ones who are valuing qualitative feedback over quantitative numbers, because eventually the numbers will come around. They'll come back to you.
Yes, because I'm learning this, and I want to bridge right into that because that was a great segue, which is what people say and what people do completely
Mm,
two different things.
right.
So I also care for you. I've known you for years now. I engage with you. If I see, and here, funny story, if I see a post that hasn't been engaged with on X from you, I'll go, he deserves engagement. I'm going to
I
comment.
see that. I've seen it. You've done it a couple of times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I care about you.
Right.
Right? So it's like, and I go, okay, that's my action. I actually give a about KP.
Yes.
And I wish other people would do the same to
Yes.
me, but like I don't expect anything from
Right.
anyone else. And I heard this one thing maybe like a few months ago, and maybe it was in like a sales book. And it was ask someone from your feedback on your product,
Yeah.
right? And they'll go, "Oh, it's great. Like, oh yeah, like, oh, I love how it does this and it's got this feature and I love that." Then ask them for their credit card to pay $1. $1. If they don't do that, everything they say after not putting in their credit card is their real feedback,
Correct.
not the beginning stuff where they're just being nice.
Correct. Correct.
So how do you gauge that with like building a brand or building a product? How do you
But
get that real
yeah, I'll
feedback?
tell you,
Like,
I'll drop a particular insight I've been thinking about all day, and this is a great opportunity for me to say this. I thought I was gonna make a video on this myself, but this is great.
okay,
I'm gonna beta test my own point here, which is so think about by the way, the context I want to lay out here is that I put out 125 videos on YouTube. I'm not like underperforming. I'm like
sure.
prolific at YouTube. You see like
Yeah, yeah,
128
yeah.
videos
No, I
and
see it and
and I have
they have like good banners and
your banners. Okay,
you know
and
what I
I
mean? Yeah.
have, to give you context to the audience, I have probably 500, maybe 520 overall subscribers,
Oh yeah.
which is literally
Oh,
zero ROI, negative ROI for my time and energy.
sure.
But that is how rookies, like that is called being a rookie in the game,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like it's just the game is way bigger than where I am right now. I haven't mastered the game, right? And so
Yeah.
my head doesn't know how to master. So it's also a uh, part of it. It's time. Number one, of course, this time spent doing something, but also part of it's like the knowledge, the specific knowledge that Nawal talks about. But anyway, this aside, among 128 videos, my wife, who lawfully wedded me and is mother of my child, hasn't watched a single video. Single video. Every day
Yeah.
goes to bed
Yeah.
saying, "I love you so much. You mean the world to me." Blah 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 blah. Who do I believe now?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so
No,
so
you.
I'll tell you what's going on there. Though I'll tell you why. What's going on? Um, just like how if you and I were purely thinking as tech entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
And I asked you, like, all right, you have this amazing new device called Humane. Remember the Humane thing came out 2 days ago,
Oh,
AI
yeah.
pin,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
How many people in American society just think about that device, right? The Humane AI pin. It costs $900, so it's a
Hmm.
high commitment, right? $900 goes a long way. You could do so many things. You could blow it up on all kinds of ways, but you and I would be in line to get that. If
Sure.
Steve Jobs, when he dropped iPhone, if I was in Silicon Valley, I would have been in line like Robert Scoble, like the crazy person. like Robert Scoble is so crazy about
In a
these things.
tent.
In a tent. So
Yeah.
they're called early adopters. They give a
Oh.
even when the world doesn't write about what's going on, right? So my wife would never buy Humane Pin, the AI pin, period.
Hmm.
So if you remember that bell curve, and there's this early adopters who are just this kind of personality. They just care about something. So their identity is tied to being an early adopter, being early into something, right? And then you
Yep.
got these late adopters, then you got the risk averse, and then you got the complete laggers, right? In
Yep.
content, the same phenomenon is happening. So when you start a channel, the first 4 or 5 likes, the one comment, those are early adopters for new content. My
Yeah.
wife, or people like my wife and people like the general YouTuber, average YouTuber, is obsessed about Mr. Beast, is obsessed about Jay Shetty, is obsessed about Tom Bilyeu, is obsessed about Gary Vee. They have all these four people have reached the laggard stage where even an average laggard care about their videos. They're not
Yeah.
tastemakers.
Yeah.
The tastemakers for content is people like you and me, right? People like who leave comments in my because there's a
Yeah.
guy
Yeah.
who follows me, Sang, shout out Sangarsh. That guy, he's one of my OG believers. He's a tastemaker. He's an early adopter.
Yeah.
He's the crazy Robert Scoble, setting up a tent because he knows that one day, 11 years from today, KP is gonna be hot on Wall Street or CNBC, and then I can say I proudly supported this dude when he was a nobody.
Yeah, man. I feel that pride about you now.
Yes, thank
By
you,
the
and
way,
I vice
by the way,
versa, right?
like
But
it's
like, and the funny thing is, so if you judge a product based on a lagger's point of view, like if we tried to sell the
mm,
AI pin to a nursing home, if we both walk into a nursing home with a bunch of grandmas and grandpas and try to tell them like, hey guys, this is the future, that's not the audience. They're risk
yeah, I
averse. So most people are risk
right.
averse in terms of watching content. They're selfish. They're like, until the mass media adoption happens. Like I remember Jay Shetty and Lily Singh, 2011. I remember hearing about them, watching their videos.
That
They
long
just
ago?
they're just blowing up. 2011. They're just
Wow.
blowing up to the mainstream audience today. Just now.
Yeah.
Even then, they don't. Most people don't know them. I'm saying, right? So it
Yeah.
takes almost 11, 12 years for mainstream to recognize you, and that's the
And I
price you
think
have to pay.
yeah, and I think like there's the laggard point of view which I completely agree with you with. And then there's like the proximity point of view
True.
where we will catch all we watch is like YouTube at home, and we will catch my video that will like come up with interview with someone or whatever, and I'll click on it, right, and just to see, or
Yeah.
like have my wife like, and she goes, I don't want to hear your like, dude, I listen to you all the you're saying the same stuff in this video that I hear you on the phone with at
Yes.
home and that I hear you in our bedroom talking
Yes.
about. It's like it's everywhere. I can't escape it. I don't want it to be on
Correct.
like our TV. Like
Exactly.
how much of it is not just the laggard piece, but like I heard this quote once that
Saturation, maybe. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, almost that. And it's where the farther along you get, the more you like the closer you are with someone in earlier stages. Okay, how would I feel if I had nothing and KP had everything? Like if we came up and we both had 400 and I saw you go into 50, there's one of two ways I could have taken that. I could have gone, "Oh, nothing happened for me." And now KP is a reminder of what I could have been or what
Yeah.
I wanted and now I
Yes.
don't.
Yeah.
So now I don't engage and I don't.
Yeah.
Have you had any in contacts with like that kind of
Yeah,
behavior
but
or
I mean,
seeing that?
probably they're probably not visible that way, but they're probably thinking, a small portion of the OG gang with us when we
Yeah.
started our journey together probably don't want to do. I mean, don't want to engage just for that reason, right? I mean, you can't,
Yeah.
dude. You can't. I mean, there's so many. Like there was. I remember I was listening to Jay Z's, you know, episode on Founders Podcast by David Senra, which is a massive, like huge fan of his
Huge
work
now.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's nuts like you and I. You should listen to him. It's called Founders Podcast. And so anyway, in this episode, there was a guy by name Big Daddy Kane who was the back in Brooklyn, and
Mhm.
he would introduce Jay Z as an MC as a interim act between two sets. So he could go into the back room and then change and come back. Like, who is Big Daddy Kane today? Jay Z is a billionaire, right?
Yeah.
So think
Right.
about what it
Right.
must feel like to be a Big Daddy Kane. You're
Yeah,
like
to
he's
be Big Daddy Kane.
right.
Like, I'm sure no, if you get in the head of Big Daddy Kane, I would like to know, does he resent Jay-Z just like on a competitive level?
But like
Where you're
you
like,
think about it,
"Do
right?
you I would."
It sucks. I mean, and so what do you do? And so and what I think has happened a couple of times, I've seen the interviews where Jay Z apparently reached out to him and like invited him. But I don't think he would want to go to the big show because it's so embarrassing. To
Yeah.
go to like a rock star big show of the guy that you gave the break to. So it's
Right.
about again. If you view it, I mean, there's a very small section of society are hyperachievers, top 1%. There's a reason why they're called 1%, because the
Yeah.
99% don't want to be like them or can't be like them. So you
Which
can't
is
control that, man. Our journey is just our journey,
yeah.
chugging along and moving on, right?
And I think you either have I do, but and one of your posts, like the last a couple days ago, about you committing to YouTube and I don't
Yeah,
maybe you didn't put your goal was 100K. Maybe the post you posted was 100K. It was
right,
some steak dinner guy or something. Remember
right.
that?
No,
Yeah.
I don't remember. Wait. What's the
You reposted and like tweeted something about like some guy had helped someone hit like 100K subs on YouTube in 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
think Pat Wall said something about yeah. Basically, he hired someone a while ago and gave him a
Yep.
shot, right? And
Yep.
that
Yeah.
and they collectively got the 100K on YouTube or something. Yeah.
Right. And they were eating or celebrating or
Yeah,
whatever.
correct.
And I see that and I saw you repost that and I saw you put some context to it. And I was like, okay, I KP can do it. Right.
Yes.
I can do it.
Yes.
Right.
Dude,
I
we
will
both
will
of us can
myself
do it.
the
The,
way
the,
to
the
do
thing
this.
is, what gets me going is that I don't need to do it at the time pace dictated by somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Warren
But how
Buffett became a billionaire at 55. So I have 20 years of time if I want to go the slow route. But
But
the
dude,
question is
people
whether
don't
yeah.
KP, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
But the point was the guy did it. Did you only share it? Would have you shared be completely
Yeah,
honest?
yeah, of course.
Would have you shared it had he said I did 100K in 6 years or
Definitely.
16 years? You
Definitely.
would
I,
have?
I wouldn't have given a frankly, even now, like there's 4 billionaires in Atlanta. Do I know how many years each of them took? I don't care. But
Yeah.
there's four. Dude, it's also what you do with the 100K. Like that's what people are
Yeah.
missing out. Like what are you
Yeah,
gonna
yeah, yeah.
do with the 100K? When I become a billionaire, and I'm saying not if, when I become a billionaire, and mark my words on camera, what I do with my money and how I
Note
advance
taken. Note taken, KP.
how I advance, our society, what I do for, maybe fellow immigrants because I'm an immigrant, how I help,
Yep.
America in general, like what kind of technology things we can create and help. That's what matters with the money. Anyone who's going to interview me on CNBC or CNN are going to ask me, "Whoa, you made a 50 million donation to these, at-risk school kids in Atlanta, in the hood, like somewhere in South
Yeah.
Atlanta. What was your driving factor?" Nobody there is going to ask me, "KP, did it take you 4 extra years to be a billionaire?" No,
Mm,
that's
yeah, right.
irrelevant. That's a footnote, right?
I
And
think
so
it
we have this weird like, oh, we got to do this in X. Who's dictating these terms?
I think what I believe though is other people, that might be ringing true for the Jeremys and the KPs, right? That's
Yes.
cool. I commit myself to this journey because honestly, I want the plaque, KP. I
Yeah.
want a 100K. I want to have an event. I want to have an event with you, and I will throw you an event. I'll put money behind this to do. I want to do a touch the plaque event
Yeah.
where like that's
People
all.
come.
That's my goal now is to get to 100K, get a plaque, and then have an event where everyone gets to touch it. Anyway,
And
like,
then what? What are you gonna do
well,
after 100K?
I think it's what you're doing to get to 100K,
Yes.
right? Like I'm only at 3K, 3,500 or
Right.
something like that. And it slowly grows and you get spikes and ebbs and flows or whatever, like 20 someday, 5 someday,
Right.
60 someday. And you don't really know. But it's so fun engaging because, dude, on YouTube, and you can look back at the videos, and thank you so much, everyone out there who does this because it means so much. 10% of our views are comments.
Oh, wow.
So, like, if a
Nice.
video gets 500 views, right, which is probably our average lately, a video, there's 30, 40, 50 comments.
Right.
And you're like, that is it. Like, you're kind of growing, you're building in public together, like
Right.
building this company, building Task
Exactly.
Magic, building a brand. And for me, the message of I don't care how long it takes, you don't care how long it takes. Other people, the messaging of how someone can do it fast sells.
I
Why do
think
you
yes,
think
well,
that is?
it's one of the many selling methods. I could sell the same thing without the word fast. I could tell you the story of
Mm,
how it took me 22 years to get to America. Now, isn't that impressive? I think it's impressive, right? Now, I didn't get here in
yeah,
like a year. I could have maybe hacked my way, hustled my way, like did some illegal. No, it took
yeah,
me freaking. So, dude, what's impressive is really a reflection of the truth in your story, number one, but also a reflection of your own self-love. You have to
sure.
fall in love with your own version of the story. My version of the story is that KP didn't do X in Y years. My version of the story is that in a family where nobody graduated college,
Yeah,
KP did it
yeah, yeah.
still. So the emphasis is underscore still, right? He didn't give up after, like, I want to be like Warren Buffett, like 93, still got it.
But
That's who I want to be.
even
I don't want
Warren
to be like
Buffett,
the dude, like, I don't want to be like the 20-year-old like Silicon Valley founder who's like 21 and then raised an AI startup for 80 million. Like, I don't, that to me
yeah,
is not impressive. Ultimately, our lives are manifestations of our own internal narratives of what is impressive.
yeah,
You have the
I,
chance to dictate destiny based on what you think is impressive in your head. So if you
yes,
follow the people who are doing it fast, slow, whatever, or not, I'm just saying not you, I'm just saying anyone. Like, I know that if you and I started a new channel and we rented a Lamborghini under the company expense, and you and I just drove around Atlanta and hit up every strip club, I promise you we will have 100K in 6 months. But is that what I want on my
mhm,
tombstone? That,
correct.
of course not. Like, what is the point of
Yeah,
life? Like, to me, when I think about these things, I'm like, when I'm like 85, I want to be like Uncle Warren. I want my son, my kids, like my grandkids to be so damn proud that Grandpa KP did it. That's what matters to me. That's
Grandpa
that's exciting.
KP.
Grandpa KP, right? I don't care about what the username Pinky9495 thinks today in 2023. I
Yeah,
don't give a
yeah,
shit. I want to
right.
give a shit. I don't give a shit. Eventually we'll forget. Remember how many people in 2019 you and I were interfacing with? We forgot today on Twitter. I
Yeah, yeah,
forgot about them. It's
yeah,
funny.
yeah. That's true. You're so prolific,
Yeah,
right?
we forgot about
And
them.
like, dude, and I love the bringing up of Warren Buffett and playing the long game, and a lot of content creators mention playing the long game. It's if you're interested in doing it quick, it's not going to happen.
Yes.
But
Dude,
and you bring up
can I also say
Warren
something?
Buffett, yeah,
Nobody right now in the content game, I think, maybe I can count on fingers who I know will make it at age 90.
mm,
Nobody's doing. I don't care how much of head
how
start they have,
many?
including Mr. Beast. I don't care how many. I can count on my
Oh,
fingers
okay,
how many are wanting to
yeah,
play the game until 90.
mm,
Nobody wants it because it's hard. Because you have to live
yeah,
with your own internal dialogue that I'm a loser, I'm a loser, I'm a loser, I'm a loser for like decade after decade after decade. And suddenly you win so big, then you're like, oh, am I a winner? Am I a winner? Like, Well, I remember distinctly when this is so much. I love reconnecting with old friends because you guys know what it was like in 2018 when I was there any change in me from then to now? Nothing.
Nothing.
Literally the
Nothing.
same energy. When I
Yeah.
walk
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
a call, I want to walk like a nuclear bomb. Like literally just
Yeah.
coming. And that's who I am. That's who I am in my
Yeah.
life. That's who I am in like, when I'm playing with my son, whatever. But for the world of the small niche world of Twitter slash tech Twitter slash whatever to accept that this is the real KP and this is like, oh, this is truth. It took me
Yeah.
5 years. So it's not on
Well.
me, it's on them, right? It just takes
Well.
time.
Yeah. I think it is like this long game, and I googled this while you were talking because we did the Warren Buffett piece, and
Uh,
this is so great, right? And he was asked a little while ago, "You're the second richest guy in the world, and it looks so simple. Why doesn't everyone just copy you?" Good
yeah.
question. And he wrote back. Said back, "Because nobody wants to get rich slowly."
Yeah. Dude, that's it. I didn't know that, but that's a banger. What a great tweet.
Yeah,
What a
like,
great message.
and I love that because I do enjoy this. Dude, I'm lucky that you're a friend
Yeah.
versus someone who I just randomly reached out to or randomly engaged with. I feel proud to have
Vice
known you
versa.
when you were at hundreds or low thousands. And it's funny to me to like, dude, and this is a reality. There are other people we came up with that have fallen off.
Yeah.
And
So
like
many.
I'll catch up with them and they'll be like, this isn't working and that's not working
Yeah.
and I don't know about this or I'm gonna have to find another job
Dude,
somewhere. And
like
I'm
you know
like,
how many people that I came up with think that I got lucky? I know. There's so many people
yeah,
who think that I got lucky.
sure. Yeah,
But
it's all luck when
it's
you
all
make it
luck,
or
right?
when you
And so,
have
but
30, 40,
even
50,000
even today,
subs.
when I'm calling it out on this live feed, 25 years from today, when I really become a billionaire, someone's gonna be like, "KP got lucky, man. Like Jeremy
Yeah.
got lucky."
Yeah.
Sure.
I feel like I mean, a
All my
completely different
request for you,
topic.
Jeremy, is just this as follows, right? Keep your internal climate as cool and as calm as possible and have fun. As long
Ooh,
as your internal climate in your brain, like the narrative that you're telling yourself, the self talk of what's going on in your life, your interpretation of reality around you, if it's friendly and favorable and
yeah.
encouraging, nobody can get into the steel dome. No one can enter. Nothing should enter, right? And so I try to
Yeah.
maintain that a lot. It's very hard because I get swayed away by all the numbers. I get swayed away, like I get so distracted by numbers, and then I read the greats and I think about what were they doing. Jay-Z took 12 years to produce an album for the first time, for the first album, but he's been writing rhymes from age 14. So for 12
Yeah.
years, the greatest of the greats walked around Brooklyn not knowing if we would make it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that
And
is the
everyone
rent.
looks back
That is
at
the
that.
due you have to pay.
Yeah. Like, and I don't think a lot of people want to pay. They just want to. I mean, you're a motivational individual, and I'm getting pumped up. I'm getting pumped up just listening to you, brother. So
So
like,
likewise, you bring the best out of me, brother. We've been like, I remember our calls were exactly like this. Every 4 times we talked, like all the times it was just this. We
it
just
was
chose to
it really is.
make it public this time.
Yeah, yeah. So for me, it's how people build in public and how you did it. And I don't know if this was something that I went back of yours or you reshared this and now you've forgotten about it. But you went back to how it was like $8 from Gumroad. You
Yeah.
sold your first product and made your
Yeah.
first dollar or whatever.
Yes.
Tell everyone here will love this, right? Because like a big part of this channel is getting your first set of customers.
Yes.
What can you go into that just a little bit
Yeah.
about like what you did to do that or get your first customer?
Right. So I've been talking about. I mean, I've been just billing in public. Like again, so I was doing a bunch of no code projects, like one by one, sequentially. And every lesson that I learned in one project, I would incorporate into the next one. So if I learned something about product and launch, and I was like, oh, this is actually interesting. I learned so much about this. So let me take this lesson and then apply it to the next product I was building. And I was doing this on the side. And I think about 8 or 9 projects. They're all mini project, micro projects. None of them made money. And all these projects kept happening, but I had the belief that one day, I'll make money. One day, like we'll turn this into some kind of income. It's fine, but like for now, let's put in the reps, put in the reps, put in the reps. So I also didn't have a green card. So I
Oh,
was on H1B, what they say, and so I was billing on the side. I couldn't really take money. I couldn't really work full time, and all these other stipulations on the visas. So I was like, I'm just gonna wait my time until I get that official green card, which I did in September 2020. So the day I
congrats.
got it, I registered an LLC. That's the true American dream, right? The day you got the
Yeah,
green
dude.
card,
Yeah, dude.
bam! I just went and registered an LLC, and I got all the bank accounts and whatnot set up. And like within a week, I had just that week I had a interesting situation where I had this is 2020. I mean, not just this week, but like that season, I remember I was talking highly and heavily about this a platform called Kappa that I built. You remember Kappa?
I
And
remember that.
right. So it was a marketplace for matching like these no code
Yeah.
founders with investors. It was just basically some kind of a matchmaking video platform. I had so much fun with it, and because the timing of pandemic, it took off really well, and I did a bunch of things right based on something else that I failed at, which is writer's compound. I took all the learnings, applied to Kappa, right? So it's sequentially,
Yeah.
it's just no shortcuts, right?
Failure after
Failure
failure. I'm
after failure
glad you
after
throw those
failure,
in
but
there.
then reframing failure as a learning. So
Yeah.
the day you reframe failure as a learning, you win. You will get
Yeah.
liberated from failure. Until then, you're cursed with the weight of failure. But the
Yeah.
day you call the failure and look back and say, you know what, that's actually a learning. I got an MBA of Hard School Knocks, right? School of
Yeah.
Hard Knocks. Bam, you win again. That's how you stay winning. So then I was like, okay, I failed. And I was like, okay, it's all right. I had 45 subscribers. I mean, 45 early beta signups, and it wasn't going anywhere. I was spinning. I was like, spinning in circles. So I shut it down, right, as compound, and then I waited for a good opportunity, which is this Kappa pandemic. Everybody went offline. I mean, everybody wanted this connection. So I was like, all
Yep.
right, let's drop Kappa, this new idea of matchmaking. That blew up, got 2,000 early beta customers. Unpaid, but pretty
Yeah. Yeah.
good for me, right, at the time.
Yeah.
And I thought this could be an interesting piece of information to package for somebody else because I know my followers at the time.
Oh,
I
like
had like
how to
maybe,
do that.
so I just did everything. Yeah, how to get your first 1,000 early subs. Today it's so laughable today because I'm like swimming
Yeah,
in
it is,
money.
right?
Just kidding. Like, dude, I
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
preach
You're
about.
so rich now.
I'm just kidding. No, it's not
You
what I'm like.
on.
I wouldn't give a about free subscribers or a
Yeah.
free beta users. Like that's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
even worthy of a
Yeah.
lesson today. Like my vantage point, because I know how
Yeah.
to make money and I charge right away and like all these things. But that KP, the rookie Steph Curry I was talking about, like that KP thought the greatest thing I could teach today for anybody was how do you get 1,000 free beta customers, right? Which, by the way, it's
Yeah.
funny because if you go to indiehackers.com today, even now there are so many people posting that stuff, which means there's so
Yeah.
much
Sure.
demand, right? There's so much demand for that knowledge.
Yeah.
So anyway, I packaged it into a Notion doc. I documented my learnings, like section by section. I took screenshots about basically it was all about Kappa and how I got this. I had a wait list and all these things. So I packaged it and then I made a tweet saying I went from 0 to 1,000 early beta customers on this XYZ credibility, right? Showing the real proof.
Yep.
Would
Credibility. Yeah.
anybody want to be? Would anybody have interest in buying? This Notion doc or the Notion like a repository, and I charged like $10, $10. And I recently gave a shout out to the first person who bought it. I think it was Lacey. Um,
Ah.
and then I had
That's what it was.
I
Yeah.
had 73, you know, sales in like maybe a week. I thought I was hot.
Did you?
I thought I
Yeah.
was swimming in so much
You
money. Like
were Warren Buffett, brother. You were Warren Buffett at that
I
time.
was Buffett, right? But
Yeah.
dude, that is what that's what I'm talking about. Like when you look back, you want those memories. You want every dollar to feel it. That's why I feel like so jazzed about where I am in YouTube. Like one day we're gonna
Yeah.
swim in money or swim in subscribers, and you're gonna look back and be like, damn, this felt so big that day,
Dude,
So
I'm making a video right now that's not this one. But this one will go out right before that one about how much we made from YouTube,
yes,
like with a product.
that's it.
And it's with only 3,400 subs,
There you go.
where you're like,
That's it.
and
Package it. I
I'll
mean,
have
that's
to
what
shout you
I
out in
think.
there.
And my secret, even from that launch, and also like the other thing too, dude. Like I want to also lay the context of I was surrounded by a couple people at the time who I looked up to and admired, and they had amazing Gumroad launches, including
Mm.
Janelle, who I mentored her, eventually hired her at On Deck, and she had I think
Oh, I think I remember her.
I don't know the numbers, but I think maybe like 40K kind of like revenue
Okay.
launch. It's just wild, $40,000, right? And
Yeah.
so I was like, 730 is nothing. It's peanuts.
Yeah.
So my life has always been where I have to look at my scorecard and put that in perspective of what is my narrative, as opposed to looking at somebody else's scorecard and be like, damn, why is this not a success? Right?
Ooh, yeah,
Because
that's so good.
it's so easy to quit. And so even now, like right, when I look at my 530 subscribers and look at yours 3,500 versus all my 7 other YouTube friends who are all about 50,000, I feel like I may not, I don't, but I may feel like a loser. But
Sure.
it's recognizing that, hey, that's not how what the game is. The game is, can I make my numbers go big over time based on how much value I provide, as opposed to worrying about what somebody else's scorecards are.
Yeah, man, it really does come down to one. I want to compare. Yeah, dude, I still think you could beat me. Like, I get it that getting to 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 is difficult,
Yeah,
but like it takes one good video. Dude,
correct.
I'm learning. It takes
Can
you
I flip
have
the
to
tables
put out
on
video,
your side? I actually want to
flip
ask you a
them,
couple questions. Two
flip them.
questions I
Yeah.
got, because you're 5 steps ahead of me in the YouTube game. I think it's valuable for anyone
Okay.
listening too. Hit me with the answer on this one, which is, what is one thing that you wish you did earlier, when you were like in the first 1,000 follower range on YouTube, that
Yeah.
you wish you started much, much sooner? Right? You know what I mean? Like, what is one thing you did much later? Sorry. What is one thing you
Yeah.
did much later, like recently, that you wish you started way back when?
Uh, and I know this is going to be against conventional wisdom,
I want
but
that.
I
Yeah.
I would have put more quality videos out.
Yes.
Like
Good.
I would have invested in all of this dumb. You don't need it, but I'm telling you,
It
it
makes a
gets in
difference.
your head.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
does make a difference. Like if you can read something on a teleprompter or have your iPad or your computer or StreamYard or this microphone, all of this dumb like this is like $100. I get
Yeah.
it. Right. And
Right.
you're like, none of this is $500.
Right.
Right. Like this, dude, this was $1,000 and it does not suit the purpose of just doing this. It actually
Right.
is my computer that
Yeah.
I'll,
Yeah. Of
I'll
course.
play
Right.
with. But this light, right? Like all of this stuff. When I look at
So
like
for your first
professional
three
YouTubers,
videos, did you not have any of this?
none of it,
Oh.
none of it. Like I had, dude, it was me at a computer on Loom building in public. Like you will go to my videos now. Dude, at a minimum. Okay, there are videos from 1 year ago that still only have 18 views. If you go to my videos, my last video right now, it has 600, and it's been out for less than a
Mm.
week. So you're like, and you go to every single video, there are thousands. One video has 43,000. One video has
Wow.
7,000, 5,000. Dude, but it all started with me on my computer. And I know had I like focused on a niche earlier, like build in public is general.
Right.
So
It
like,
is general.
but
Yeah.
now, right. And now I'm focused on like automation and process design with Task
Nice.
Magic, you know?
Nice.
So it's funny if I would have had a niche and I would have just put some version of professionalism in
Right.
where it looks like you kind of have more than you do.
Right.
Like you don't need it. You
You don't
do
need
not
it,
need
but
it.
I get it. So I think it's
Yeah.
probably, I'm wondering, it's if the analogy here is almost like, going to an event well dressed, like going to a date
Yes,
well
it
dressed.
is.
You
It is
actually
that.
should not need it, because if you're a good gentleman,
Yes.
you're a good
Yeah.
person, like you're a good, like a not a
Yeah.
psychopath. You
Yeah.
should not need it, but
Yeah.
it definitely helps, right? So I think
Like
that's maybe okay.
yeah, that is it. Like they say what you work from home, but like you get dressed up and it makes you feel better about your
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Dude, this makes me feel like a YouTuber.
Yeah.
So it makes me take it serious. If
Oh.
Cuz you're not taking if you invest time, you invest money, you invest everything you have when you're taking that thing serious and you're committed. So if I know, dude, I have this Zoom recorder here on the desk connecting to
Right.
all of this. This is thousands of dollars worth of stuff. I did not get it overnight. This was piecemealed over the
Piecemeal.
last 3 years.
Yeah.
And my Zoom recorder, KP, is sticky because it was sitting in a box and I wasn't using it. So I was like, it was a reminder of not having it was a reminder of how I'm not taking this serious and I'm not
Seriously.
committing to it.
Oh my god, this gives me an idea that I've been having a couple. like equipment pieces that they're just sitting and rotting, and you just like help me. The analogy of thinking of it like taking it seriously and taking it like a date, like not a date general, like, you know what I mean? Like being well dressed is I understand it. I get it. I don't want to come off like in real life, you meet me, I'm not gonna show up like a shaggy, person, right? Because it's like
I do.
and
I
like
need a haircut.
I'm as tech bro as you want, but I want to look a little bit presentable. I think the same thing applies. Second question I have is the video that did the most views, which is the video, is it the 40,000 or something?
Yeah, 43,000.
What do you think? 3 elements of it that you think you got so right. Like, give me 3 elements.
It was searchability title. So it was my Tesla delivery day video.
Okay.
So like that is what I'm starting to incorporate into now. I'm like, at that point, I had maybe
What is the searchability
1,200.
partly there? Like, is it easy to just search or find?
So I knew, because I was getting into both YouTube and like Teslas,
Right.
whatever. Because I was like, oh, I have a little money now. I can buy a Tesla. Right. So I started searching YouTube for Model Y Tesla review videos. Right. This was my early stage. And I noticed every gosh darn video had at least 5 to 10,000 views. Every video.
Oh.
Every single one. No video had 500 hundreds. None.
So it was a very hot key phrase or something, right?
Right.
Search
so
phrase.
like
okay.
I remember telling my content guy, Dave, now, I was like, dude, this will take off. Every video it will get 3,000, 4,000. Dude, it's sitting there at like almost 45,000 now, because it's somewhat evergreen, because it's still 2023.
Yeah.
And
so,
you're like,
okay, that's one, right? Search phrase. What are the other two?
The professionalism piece.
Really?
So making like audio is a big thing. Audio is better than visual. So you can have a camera and better audio, even though it's YouTube, and people will still listen. Like your audio right now is beautiful. It's perfect. It's coming through great.
Nice.
You have a legit microphone.
Right.
Dude, the audio way better than video.
Makes a
People will
difference.
turn off your thing.
Right.
Like if the audio's not good, even though it's a visual platform.
Okay.
So, and then collaboration with someone doing something on YouTube is another one. So like being able to borrow from, like, you hear this term like OPN, like other people's network.
Okay.
It's always that. Like, it's too bad you don't have 50,000 subs on YouTube, KP, because you're bringing me down here, bro.
Dude, like one day you'll look back and be like, whoa, we can't believe. So I'm looking at your first, looking at the most popular video you were talking about, right? The episode 228, taking delivery of my 2023.
Oh yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Wow. Gotcha.
What is it at right now?
40. Yeah, it's 44,000. It's crazy. So, okay.
How many comments on there?
Comments, let's see. 202. So I'm curious also. Okay, that's the question I have. What makes a video, what do you think makes a video get a lot of comments versus no comments?
Oh, dude, you have to be you have to deal in absolutes. I'm learning. Like, you have to say something with a hard opinion that evokes a response.
You can't hold back.
You can't hold back from being your true self.
Yeah.
So we started a fight with Zapier recently.
Really? I didn't know that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it's been half of my content in the last 3 or 4 months. Because Zapier, those took our app out of the App Store the week we launched on AppSumo in August. So
is it because did you guys compete? Like, you guys compete with them? Is that what?
Yeah. But they had another YC company, multiple people that were doing the exact same thing we were doing in their store. So we appealed it. We did everything we can. And I released a video of why we'll beat them. And I will just be as petty as shit and just steal their customers because they run a commoditized service.
That's true.
They do run a
commoditized service, but also they run a very expensive service too, right? So you have a big...
Right. So you agree, I have a chance, right? Like,
you do.
I have a chance.
Of course.
Right? So I didn't know, KP, my love, that the response would be like, LFG, let's go. Yes, they're predatory. I didn't know that, like, I got emails from investors that were like, I agree with you. I hate what they're doing. And it's like, Like, I had no idea there was such like,
The
I was talking
undercurrent.
with,
There's a huge
yeah,
undercurrent there. Yeah.
undercurrent. So, like, now that has fueled a lot of this
Mm.
buying. So, like, and I go,
And it's basically you're addressing the sort of,
yeah,
like the unmet need in the market, right? I mean, I've seen this a
right.
couple of times too. I've seen like a couple of tweets, and some of my, no code friends talk about the pricing challenges and like the commodity stuff. And so there's clearly an opening here. And so, yeah, okay. So that's
Do you
one thing
think
you were
I'm gonna
saying
win?
about.
You knowing me, KP, give me advice. You knowing me, do you think I have a shot to steal some Zapier customers?
I would look at it as a steal. I would look at it as offering a formidable, like,
What a nice way to put that.
yeah, because I'm built that way, man. I genuinely don't care about the competition. Like, I mean,
Sure.
I'm not
Yeah, me too.
saying
Yeah.
it sounds so dumb to say that when you're playing a
Yeah.
business game because, of course, there's competition. But I think you will rise up to your highest self that you're put on this planet to do what you're supposed to do if you operate with an internal compass of what you want to do, which
Yeah.
is mostly about how do I serve people who are betting, who are getting, who feel this unmet need that I know that they feel this because they've told me, and I feel it because I'm in the game also, like I'm in the niche
Yeah.
also, and just siphoning that off and saying, if you believe in a future where there should be a product
Mm.
that has affordable pricing or whatever, like you have to feel like the Costco for them. Like people
Yeah.
love Costco.
Yeah.
People love that.
Yeah,
They
dude.
trust the
Yeah.
founder to do what's
Yeah.
best for them. It's been
Yeah.
insane inflation. And the founder, remember, there was a video where he was saying, well, not a video, like a thing about how he said, I will kill you for the new CEO if you reduce the price of the hot dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how much you have to be obsessed about
If
your
you
share of
increase the
customers.
price of the hot dog.
Yeah. Oh, increase. Sorry,
Yeah.
increase the price of
Yeah.
the hot
Yeah.
dog. And,
Yeah.
and so that's how much you should be obsessed about the share of customers in that market. And eventually what happens is you become a titan. You become a titan, you become a formidable rival that they will have no choice either to offer you an acquisition price or some bigger strategic partner would have to buy you out or they have to concede the territory, right? So
Oh,
you
yeah, I
really
was
have
gonna
to
say
there's an option there, right? I wouldn't worry too much about you have to for the beef marketing initially, but like in the long run,
for the beef.
I would like signal
Yeah.
to your customers to
Yeah.
tell their friends that you're in it to care for them and to win, to do what's best for them. That kind
Oh,
of thing.
dude, yeah, it is definitely
Yeah.
there's one thing where you're like, I'll call it a war.
Yeah.
Dude, it's personal for me now. Like, it's personal for me.
Some of the best
One, because
companies were
I
built this way, like they had this personal
yeah,
like
look
drive.
at Larry David's Spite Store,
Yeah, same
you
thing.
know?
Yeah.
So, same exactly the same thing.
Awesome.
So, one piece of advice for the audience here. A lot of people here try to like build a product and then sell it to an audience, right?
Right.
So, if you had to sum up one piece of advice, what would that be to people trying to sell their first product for the first time?
Oh, it's a great question. I'd say um genuinely build something that you care about and you feel like there's a gap that you want to solve for, and like you have to have a little bit of obsession around the gap. Like, all my
Gotta
products that
care.
I built were genuinely my own scratching my own itch kind of thing. So
Yeah.
when you feel that, when you build that, sales gets easier. I've never struggled with sales in my whole like
Mhm.
last 5-6 years because I only sell what I believe in. And it's
Yeah.
almost like I feel like I'm doing a disservice if I don't tell you about what I'm building because I
Yeah.
believe in it. So
Okay.
use that, think about that, like think about creating products that you believe in, and then sales gets easier because they see you shine and they're like, okay, there's something here.
And where can people find you on your YouTube, KP?
Awesome. My YouTube, oh, I gotta get better at, getting my
Oh,
channel
you
name
gotta
right,
get
man.
better. Get the channel name.
Never done this before, but anyway, this is the first chance. Okay, so my YouTube is Build in Public with KP. So at Build in Public with KP is my
Okay,
YouTube channel. And on Twitter, I'm at this is KP underscore. And thank you for listening, and thank you for having me here, Jeremy.